You ever get that feeling that our whole financial system is just a little off? You know, that the convenience of tapping a card comes with all these hidden costs and a level of control you never really signed up for? Well, you're not wrong. Today, we're going to go on a pretty cool journey from that modern frustration all the way back to a brilliant idea from the 1940s and then shoot forward to a blueprint for a future fix. So to really get where we're going, we first need to get a super clear picture of the problem we're facing right now. And honestly, it all boils down to two simple but incredibly powerful ideas: cost and control. Let's just start with a number: 3.5%. Every single time you tap your card, that's roughly the fee the merchant has to pay. Now, it might not sound like a whole lot, but just think about it. It's like a hidden tax on pretty much everything you buy, a cost that gets baked right into the price tag for every single one of us. And just look at how the source material describes the system behind these fees. It doesn't call it a network or a service, it calls it a cartel, a system run by giants like Visa and MasterCard, framed as being fundamentally exploitative and, get this, unstable. That's a really powerful accusation. And you know what? This system is winning, big time. Just look at how fast cash is disappearing. This chart here shows the trend in the Eurozone, where cash payments are just plummeting while card usage is surging. And this isn't just about convenience, you guys. This is a massive consolidation of power. As physical cash fades away, we all get pushed deeper and deeper into a system controlled by just a select few. So what does this actually mean for our wallets? Well, it's not just about slightly higher prices. It's about those staggering interest rates. We're talking 24%, sometimes even higher, plus all the penalty fees. But, the biggest cost might be our privacy. Every tap, every swipe, every online purchase is recorded, tracked, and analyzed. And this isn't just a banking problem, not by a long shot. It's part of a much, much bigger economic shift. Today's most powerful companies, the Magnificent Seven like Apple and Microsoft, they don't own oil fields or giant factories. They own the networks. They control the connections. And our financial system, it's one of the most powerful and profitable networks of all. But here's the thing, this problem isn't new. In fact, one of the most brilliant economists of the 20th century saw a version of this coming and proposed a really radical solution, one that was almost completely forgotten. So meet the Bancor. This was John Maynard Keynes's big idea. Now, it's really, really important to understand this was not a new world currency for you and me to go out and spend. Think of it more like a unit of account, a kind of neutral bookkeeping tool designed only for countries to settle up their trade balances with each other. And the mechanics behind it were just so elegant. Every country would have an account. If you exported stuff, you earned Bancor credits. If you imported stuff, it cost you debits. Simple enough, right? But here's the brilliant twist. If a country ran too big of a surplus or too big of a deficit, it would get hit with penalties. This was the revolutionary idea at its core: symmetric discipline. Think about our system today. All the pressure is on the debtor nations to cut their spending and fix their problems, right? Well, Keynes's system forced the creditor nations, the ones with those huge surpluses, to also adjust their behavior. It made everyone responsible for keeping the global economy in balance. So why don't we live in this world? In a word, politics. At the Bretton Woods Conference after World War II, the United States was the dominant economic power, and they rejected the Bancor. The world instead chose a system built entirely around the US dollar, giving one nation's currency what's been called an exorbitant privilege. The Bancor may have lost the political battle back then, but its core ideas are actually more relevant today than ever. So let's fast forward to right now and see how the internet might finally make its vision possible, not through governments, but through technology. This quote from the innovation expert Clayton Christensen is just key. Real fundamental change, it rarely comes from tweaking the old system. It comes from these disruptive innovations that offer something totally new, and they almost always emerge from outside the establishment through free market competition. So what would a truly disruptive alternative even look like? Well, the source material suggests it would be a complete internet-based trading platform, and for it to really work, it needs 4 essential integrated parts: a marketplace to trade on, a social network to build trust, and then the 2 big missing pieces: a native means of payment and a stable measure of value. Okay, this is where it all comes together. We've got the historical idea, we've got the modern blueprint. Let's connect the dots and see what it would actually take to finish this financial revolution once and for all. I mean, we have marketplaces and social networks everywhere, right? Think about Amazon, eBay, LinkedIn. They've pretty much solved those parts of the puzzle. But what's still missing? What is it that keeps this from becoming a true alternative to our current financial system? Well, it comes down to two missing components. First, a true independent way to pay. Not just a service like PayPal that basically just moves dollars around, but a direct credit clearing system between users. And second, an objective, stable measure of value, a yardstick for prices that isn't tied to the politics of any single country's central bank. And here it is. This is the punchline. A neutral way to clear payments and a stable, non-political unit of account. Does that sound familiar? Because these are the exact two problems that John Maynard Keynes was trying to solve with the Bancor all the way back in 1944. The unfinished business of the 20th century is now the defining tech challenge of the 21st. And that leaves us with one final, fascinating question. The big players, the banks, even the tech giants, they have very little incentive to build this kind of system. The source material suggests it might actually fall to small, nimble startups. So, can a handful of modern innovators actually succeed where one of the world's greatest economists once failed? That's something to think about.